Hello everyone, this is Satyaprakash. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll show you how to perform cascading dropdown list in Angular using Web API. So guys, here it will populate the state name by country name and it will display district name by the selection of state name. So before going through this video, please visit my last videos. I'll show you that. So if you are new to ASP.NET Web API, so please go through this my Web API related videos, okay, and you'll get some basic ideas on how to create a Web API and how to create a ADO.NET entity data model to connect to the database and map to the database objects like tables, procedures. That the things you can get. So you'll go through these videos in my this is the playlist ASP.NET Web API tutorial. And if you are new to Angular, so go through my Angular tutorial where you'll get some basic ideas on how to create a component, services, how to create a model class, and how to integrate the external Web API URL in your Angular application. So you can go through these videos in my playlist called Angular CLI tutorial. And there is some real-time videos on Angular tutorial that is how to create a sample applications and basic applications real-time scenarios. So these videos you'll get in my playlist called Angular latest version tutorial. So these videos are very helpful for your beginners, intermediate and experienced candidates. So let's continue my presentation here. So guys, in this video I'll discuss how to create a Web API endpoint to bind the dropdowns, that is country, state and city, and call this Web API endpoint in Angular to perform cascading dropdown list. So the country dropdown will be loading, and based on the country name the state dropdown will be loaded, and then based on the state dropdown the city dropdown will be loading. For example, if I select the country India, then under the India country whatever the states like Odisha or Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, it will be loading, and based on the state, for example I selected the Karnataka, and based on state it will be loading a city like Bengaluru. So same thing I'll implement and I'll show you the output as well. So I have created one notes here. So guys, here I have pointed out 17 steps, okay, and then the output. So step 1 we need to discuss here, that is create a 3 tables in SQL Server called country details, state details and district details. So I'll go to my SQL Server, okay, and here this is the SQL create statement for creating the country detail, and this is the create statement for state details, and this is the SQL create statement for district details. So these are the tables you need to create, and with the columns, okay, 11 columns here. So you noticed the country has 2 columns, country code and country name, and the state has 3 columns, state code, state name and country code, because based on country code it will load the state names. So in district there is district code, district name, country code and state code. That is, country code is similar to the country details table, and state code here is similar to the state code column of state details table. That is, when the selection will be country, and based on the selection of country the state will be loaded, and based on selection of state district will be loaded. So here I have insert some data in these 3 tables. Country details, okay, and this country details have 3 or 4 countries: India, USA, Pakistan and Sri Lanka, and these are the country codes. So here second one is state details. So there is some states, right, you can see here. So here you notice state code, state name and the country code. This country state code Odisha, you can notice these are the country code is 101 and Karnataka 101. That means when for this India country these are the 2 states. Same way for USA 102 country code. So for state is California and Missouri. Same way for Pakistan and Sri Lanka, these are the relevant states. So here third one is district details, right? So see here is Khordha, country code and state code. So country code is India and state code is Odisha, right? Here you see here state code. So for India, Odisha, and on selection of India and Odisha, then it will be showing the display as district is Khordha. And there is one more state, that is Karnataka for India, right? So here is Bengaluru. So for Bengaluru, the country code is India here and the state code is Karnataka, right? You can see. Same way for USA, there is San Francisco and there is country code is USA. You can see here 102, okay, and 202 is state code, that is under state of California. The San Francisco city will be shown, and same way for Jefferson city, okay. So there is country code is USA 102, right? If you see here, and you'll check the state code. State code is 204, that means Missouri. So under selection of country USA and state in Missouri, the district will be shown Jefferson city, right? Same way for Pakistan and for Sri Lanka, the cities will be loading as well. Okay, so these are the insert statements. Country, second one is state, and third one is for Sri Lanka. Okay guys, so I need to close this one. So second step, we need to create a ADO.NET entity data model, which you can see in my playlist called ASP.NET Web API tutorial, how to create a ADO.NET entity data model. So I'll go to my Visual Studio project, Web API project, okay, and similar way all my videos I already have shown how to create a ADO.NET entity data model. So inside models folder, I have created one model called Satya concat model.edmx. Okay, if you expand this one, right, you can see all these whatever I created my tables. So while you create the ADO.NET entity data model, it is asking what are the tables you want to map. So I selected these three tables: country details, district details, and state details. So based on that, it is creating the classes as well. So country details has some columns here, right? And same way for district details. So district details, the similar columns here as the database, and the state details, it is created in the state details class and the relevant column names as well. Okay, so in this way you can create the ADO.NET entity data model to connect to the database. Check the web.config file for connection string. So guys, here once you create the ADO.NET entity data model, okay, if you open the web.config, so system will by default create the connection string for you. So there is SatyaDB entities 2, okay, connection strings, right? And you can see Satya concat model, which is relevant to my ADO.NET entity data model EDMX. Okay, and here is the connection string, that is my data source name and the DB name and the relevant properties for true and for connection strings. So this line is created automatically by the system when I have created the ADO.NET entity data model in my project. Okay, so step 4, we need to create a API endpoints to bind dropdowns like country, state, and city. So open my Visual Studio. So guys, here I have created a bind country method, bind state method, and bind city method. So I'll show you first the country. Okay, so I have used for bind country method highlight with the route country details. So this is the endpoint for bind country method. Okay, and this is the code IEnumerable of list country, and SatyaDB entities is my ADO.NET entity data model entity name, and this is the object of this entity, and using this object I can access the country details tables properties, and I can store in the list country, so that this method will bind all the countries to the drop down. Okay, so same way for we'll check the state details. So for state details, there is the route, so state details / country ID, because based on country ID the list of states will be loading. So this parameter will be passed country ID here, and the same way for I have instantiated the SatyaDB entities, and using that entity I can access the state details where a.country code equal to country ID. So based on country ID, the list of states will be shown here. So this is the code for state bind state. So city ID, this is the route city details slash city ID. Okay, so bind city. Okay, so here I have instantiated the my SatyaDB entities. Based on the object I can access the district details, and here I pass the parameter city ID, and same thing I need to match with the state code, right? So city ID equal to state code, so equal to, so that based on the state the city will be displaying here, right? So this is the code for binds city. So guys, I'll expand all the methods so that you can capture this code as well. So this is the code for country binding, this is the code for state binding, and this is the code for city binding. Alright, and these are the URLs I have used here to check the response. When I run my application, I'll check these URLs to get the response. Okay, now I'll go to the step 5. I need so this part, web API part, is over. Step 5, I'll create a component in Angular application. So I'll open the VS Code. Okay, and if you'll this one, terminal, new terminal. Okay, so this is the command nggc country. Once you execute this command here, you will see here, if you expand the app country, you will see these files as well, country component related files. So step 6, we need to create a service. This is the command ngg services shared / common. So inside shared folder, the common service will be created. So I'll go to the shared folder. So see here, there is common service related files has been created here. Step 7, we need to create a model class for country, for state, and for city. So these are the three commands you need to execute: ngg class model / country, ngg class model / state, ngg class model / city. So once you execute this command here, right, in the terminal, you will see here inside models folder there is classes will be created. One is country model.ts, same way for state model.ts, and same way for city model.ts, right? So step 8, we need to write all the properties of the class that match with the database, that is country model.ts, state model.ts, and city model.ts. So I'll open the first country.model.ts file. So in country.model.ts, see here in my database, when I created this class, created this table, same column names I've created country code and country name. So when I created the class here in Angular, same columns I have created here, country code and country name, and its types as well. Okay, so same way for state.model.ts. So if you expand that, state.model.ts, same way, this is the same column name in as similar to table, state code and state name. Okay, and there it is similar to the state code state name similar to my web API. Okay, because these parameters whatever I passed, like country ID, it will be passed to the web API, so no need to create that country ID here. So I'll show you that. So see here, country ID, right? So country ID, it is a parameter, so that when I create the class here, no need to create the class column name like country ID here or country code. So here third one is city.model.ts. So city.model.ts, there is similar to column name, district code and district name and its types. Okay, so let's discuss about the step 9. Open common.service.ts and first import necessary classes and libraries, then make calls to the web API methods. So I'll open the common.service.ts, which is available inside the shared folder. This is the common.service.ts file. Okay, so here guys, I need to import these libraries. One is HTTP client injectable, right? If you put our mouse, you'll get the details. So HTTP client is required to connect to the like web API implementation, and this is the country, state and city classes to map to the whatever files you have created. If you put our mouse, you can get the whole path of this country model, state model and city model. Okay, and this is the export class common service, and this is the URL. This URL is nothing but my web API, right? This is the local host, port number, API/branch API. It is the route prefix. If you expand, if you go to my web API application, you see here this web API running under this port number 50685, and this is the route prefix, API/branch API. So same thing I have used as a root URL here. List country, list state and city, right? So it is mapped to the this property is mapped to this country class, state class, state property is mapped to the state class, list city property mapped to the city class, and this HTTP derived from HTTP client. Okay, and this is, you can see this country list method I have created here. So this method is the get request. Okay, so this URL is concatenated, this is the URL plus country details, right? So this country details, that is nothing but my route here, right? See here. So this country details, and then this list of countries will be displayed here under this method. Same way for state by country, this is the URL, this one plus concatenate with state details / country ID, because when I create this route, it's showing state details / country ID. Same thing for country ID passed, and based on the country it will display the list of states. This is the district by state. So the state ID is passed, same way for country ID here, and this is the URL, that is nothing but this one, and plus city details route concatenate with the state ID, and it will display the list of city based on the selection of state and country. Because for city details, this is the route / city ID. Same thing I have used here while create the method. So this is the code for common.service.ts to implement and consume the web API to display the records and bind to the dropdown. Okay, step 10, we need to open the country.component.ts and write the required code. So I'll go to the country.component.ts, which is available inside the folder. Okay, and see here guys, this is the import statements component, and one is common service. This is the service I have created, right? And this is the selector template URL style URLs under the component select component, right? And this is the country component class, which implements the on-init interface, and here I use the constructor and the public service. It should be public, because if the service will be private, then if you consume in your HTML file or component HTML file, it will show that private should not be allowed to consume use in the external HTML files. So that's why I've make it public. This property derived from this common service part, that's nothing but common service.ts file. So ng on init, so when the page load initially, it will call this method country list, which I discuss this method inside the common service.ts file. Bind state, right? So this method will call to this state by country, which is available inside the common service.ts. Same way for bind city, it will call the district by state method from the common service.ts file. So these are the parameters we should pass here. So this is the code for country.component.ts file. Step 11, we need to open the country.component.html and write the required HTML code. So here country.component.html. So here guys, This is the deep class container, and this is the s2 tag I have used here, cascading dropdown list in Angular using web API. And this is the deep tag for country name beside the drop down. So this is used for country name drop down, right? So on in the change method I have called the bind state, which I implemented inside the country component ts file. So this is used for loading the records in the bind state drop down, right? So select the country name. So on selection of country name, it will be bind to the state, right? That's why on change method of country I have select the call the bind state method, so that on selection of country the list of state will be displayed. So this is used for displaying the country dropdown, as well as based on selection of country it will display the state names. So same way for state name. So this is the select statement that drop down, so it is calling the bind city. So on selection of state it will display the bind city. So here I have used you can see country.state name are similar to country.country name, so I am select here country.state name for state drop down. So this is for city name, this is the select drop down. Okay, and you can see here on selection of country and state it will display the district name, right? So this is the code for district name drop down. So I'll show all the codes, full code to capture the details. So this is the code for country.component.html for HTML design in Angular. So step 12, add all required libraries in app.module.ts file. So app.module.ts. So see here guys, these are the required code, right? You can see here that's all required import libraries are required while you create the Angular applications. So in this application I have created that is country component and common service, so that it will be import here, and this country component should be used inside the declaration array. Okay, and this common service part I have used inside the providers array, right? So same thing, we need, if you create any other components and services, you need to import inside declaration array or imports array, and providers are bootstrap arrays as here. So this app component HTML implements the bootstrap, so that in the bootstrap array I have used app component here. So this is the code for app.module.ts file. Step 13, open the app.component.html and write the required code for setting app.component.ts. So I'll open the app.component.html. So here this is the selector, because in my, if you open the country.component.ts, this is the selector, right? So same selector I have used inside the app.component.html. So when the page will load initially, so my country component HTML will be load, so that I have used here country component selector in the app.component.html. So this is the code for app.component.html. So steps 14, I'll discuss other app components. So I'll go to my VS Code. So already have discussed app.module.ts and app.component.html. So I'll discuss here app.component.ts. So this is the default code, no changes required. And app.component.css, no code required here. app-routing.module.ts, so there is nothing here to change here. Okay, step 15, I go to the index.html. So here I'll open the index.html. So see here guys, there is important things when the Angular application load. First the index.html load, and based on selector, right? So this is the selector for app.component, right? If you open the app.component.ts, you can see here this is the selector, right? So that in index.html I use that selector. So it will call to the app component select, based on app component it will be loading app component HTML, and inside app component I have used country component selector, right? So that country HTML will be load. So this is the code required for in index.html. So this is the code for index.html. Step 16, we need to set CORS, that is cross origin resource sharing, in a web API. So guys, here why we need CORS, right? So if you consume the web API, Angular blocks the URL and we call this CORS, cross origin resource sharing. So first you need to check if CORS is installed or not. If not, then let's install CORS in API. So go to the API project, okay, download a NuGet package for CORS and go to NuGet package manager and search for CORS and install the package. After that, you can go to app_start folder in web API project and open the web API config.cs file and modify under the register method, right? So I'll show you that in my web API application. So this is web API config.cs, which is available inside the app_start folder. So this is the statement I have used, the namespace, and here I have used the CORS, enable the CORS here. So this is the code for enable CORS in web API config.cs under register method. Okay, step 17, we need to run web API and run Angular app. So first I'll run the web API. So guys, here my web API runs successfully. Okay, so I'll check the endpoints. So here it is the endpoints I have noted here. So first I'll check the country details. So I'll go to here, paste here. So see here I'm getting all the countries, right? So India, US, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. And we'll check the second API, that is for based on country it will display the state details. So I have used the country ID for India so that display the two states, India, Odisha and Karnataka. Let's check for third one is based on the that is for state details, right? So here I have used the state details. So I'll copy this URL, go to the browser. So here based on the US and ID, I'm getting the USA states here, California and Missouri. And the fourth one is city details based on the state details. So see here I have used the Odisha state ID so that it will display the Khordha district here. And this is for city details /202. So see here San Francisco, it is a district under the USA state, so that it will display the San Francisco based on ID, based on the state code ID. Okay, so this is the web API. I am running the web API, I am getting the response. So let's check for Angular application. So I'll go to the Angular app, click on this terminal, new terminal. And this is the command ng-sar, click enter. So guys, my Angular application is compiled successfully. I'm getting the URLs, copy this URL, go to the browser, paste here. So see here guys, I'm getting 3 drop downs, country name, state name and city name. So when I select the country name, I'm getting the 4 countries, right? And there is no states and no cities. So on selection of country ID, country India, it will display the state names Odisha and Karnataka, but till then there is no city name available. So when I select the state Odisha, you can get the city name Khordha. Same way, if you select the Karnataka, based on selection, the city name will be Bengaluru. So same way I select for USA. So there is two state names, California and Missouri. If you select the California, it display the San Francisco. If you select the Missouri, it display the Jefferson City. Same way for Pakistan. If you select the Pakistan country, there will be two states, Sindh and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So if you select the Sindh, you will see the Karachi, and if you select the Khyber, then it will be so the city name as Peshawar, right? Same way for Sri Lanka. If you select Sri Lanka, there is two states name, Western and North Central. If you select the Western, it will display the city name as Colombo. If you select the state name is North Central, it will display the city name Anuradhapur. Okay, so this is the cascading drop-down list which I implemented using Angular in and Web API. So let's see how the API is shown. So I'll right click on inspect element, okay, and select here network tab. So let's refresh this. So see here guys, once I initially refresh, it will display one endpoint, that is country details, right? So if you see here country details, click this country details endpoint, it will display the header and the preview, that is a list of countries, right? Okay, and the response, initiator and timing. So as when I click on these countries, for example India, then see here there is one endpoint created, right? It is branch API / state details / 101. So if you go to preview, it display the state names Odisha and Karnataka. That's what it's displaying here under the drop down. So when I select here from Odisha state, it will be one more endpoint is created. It noticed here API branch API state details / 201, that is state. So if you select this, you can see here district details, that is Khordha here, right, in the network tab of inspect element. So same way for city name, I'm getting Khordha here. So in this way we can see the API endpoints in the network tab of inspect element, and on the selection of countries, the the API endpoints has been generated here. Country details, state details and city details. So let's check for the API implemented here, right? The bootstrap. So see here there is iPad mini. If you select iPhone SE, based on the devices, it displays a responsive design. So that's the bootstrap support, so that based on the device screen size, it will be adjusted to the screen based on the device screen. So guys, in this way we can perform drop down list in Angular using Web API. So let's go to my notes. So this is the output I already have shown in the browser. Let's go to the presentation here. So here guys, what is cascading dropdown? Cascading dropdown list is a series of dropdown list where the value of one dropdown list depends upon the another values. This can be configured by using change event of the parent dropdown list, and within that change event handler, data has to be loaded into the child dropdown list based on selected value of the parent dropdown list. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.